The heavy scent of rain and cheap cigarettes filled the air of our cramped apartment. It was my 30th birthday, and I was holding a small bruised cardboard box containing a single lemon tart, the only thing I could afford. My hands were calloused from working 16 hours at the docks, all to fund my dream, a financial algorithm that would change the world. I thought Sarah was my partner in this struggle. I was dead wrong. When I opened the door, the apartment wasn't dark. It was lit by expensive candles I hadn't bought. Sarah stood there draped in a silk robe that probably cost more than my 6 months' rent. She wasn't alone. Her mother, Evelyn, a woman who viewed me as a parasite, sat on our mismatched sofa, sipping wine that cost more than my life. "Ethan, don't sit down," Sarah said, her voice devoid of any warmth. "You'll get grease on the furniture. Not that it matters, since the movers are coming tomorrow." I froze, the little cake box trembling in my hand. "Movers? Sarah, what are you talking about? It's my birthday." "I thought we were going to celebrate the new prototype." Evelyn let out a sharp, jagged laugh. "Celebrate? Celebrate what, Ethan? Your continued failure? My daughter is a queen, and she spent 5 years living like a beggar because of your delusions. Marcus Sterling has offered her a life you couldn't even describe in a book." Marcus Sterling, my high school rival. The man born with a silver spoon who had spent his life trying to crush mine. "Sarah, please," I whispered, my voice breaking. "The code is finished. In 6 months, we will be billionaires." Sarah stepped forward and did something that destroyed the last piece of my heart. She took the cake box from my hand and dropped it onto the floor. Then she slowly ground her heel into it, crushing the tart into a yellow smear. "I don't have 6 months, Ethan. I don't even have 6 minutes for you anymore. Marcus is downstairs in the Bentley. The divorce papers are on the counter. Sign them or don't. I'm gone either way." As they walked out, Evelyn paused at the door. "Oh, and Ethan, Marcus bought the building you're living in today. You have 48 hours to pack your trash and get out. Happy birthday, loser." I stood in the silence of the empty room looking at the crushed cake. The rain outside turned into a storm. That night I didn't sleep. I sat at my old, flickering computer and deleted every file related to mercy or love. I realized that in this world, if you don't have claws, you get eaten. I started the final upload of my algorithm. 4 years passed. To the world, Ethan Thorne had vanished. To the elite of Wall Street, a new predator had emerged. The architect. I lived in a high-tech fortress in Switzerland, surrounded by screens that bled green numbers. I had taken the remains of my broken heart and forged it into a digital weapon. My algorithm didn't just predict markets, it manipulated the greed of men like Marcus Sterling. I watched through hidden back doors as Marcus used my stolen research Sarah had secretly copied from my laptop years ago to build his Sterling empire. He thought he was a genius. He didn't realize I had left a Trojan horse in that code. I was letting him grow, letting him build a mountain of gold, just so the fall would be more lethal. I spent my days acquiring the unacquirable. I bought the water rights to the land Marcus's factory sat on. I bought the private debt of his board of directors. I was weaving a web so intricate that even the brightest legal minds couldn't see the trap. One afternoon, my head of intelligence, a former MI6 operative, walked into my glass office. "Sir, the Sterling Group is planning a massive expansion. They are betting everything on a new tech merger. They've leveraged every asset they own, including the Sterling Manor." I leaned back, a cold, dark satisfaction settling in my bones. "And who is the primary lender for that merger?" "A shell company called Apex Shadows, sir," he replied, "which, as of 10 minutes ago, is 100% owned by you." I looked at the photos on my desk. Sarah was on the cover of a luxury magazine titled "The Woman Who Has Everything." She was wearing a diamond tiara, looking into the camera with that same arrogant gaze that had crushed my birthday cake. She had no idea that the tiara, the magazine, and even the air she breathed were now technically my property. I decided it was time to return to Seattle. Not as the boy who begged for love, but as the man who owned the destiny of everyone in that city. I booked a private flight and sent out a single anonymous invitation to Marcus and Sarah for a private victory dinner at the most exclusive penthouse in the city. The penthouse was a masterpiece of glass and steel hovering above the clouds. Marcus and Sarah arrived, dressed in clothes that cost more than a village. Marcus looked smug, believing he was about to meet the mysterious architect who would make him the richest man in America. Sarah looked around with a hungry glint in her eyes, already planning how to spend their next billion. "Welcome," I said, my voice echoing from the shadows of the balcony. They turned. As I stepped into the light, Marcus's champagne glass didn't just slip, it shattered. Sarah's hand flew to her throat, her face turning a sickly shade of grey. "Ethan?" Marcus stammered, his bravado vanishing like smoke. "No, you're dead. You were supposed to be rotting in some shelter." I walked over to the dining table where a single dish was served. A lemon tart, crushed perfectly in the center. "Death is a matter of perspective, Marcus. The man you knew died 5 years ago on his birthday. The man standing here today, well, he's the one who signed your foreclosure notice an hour ago." Sarah tried to laugh, a desperate, hysterical sound. "Ethan, darling, this is a joke, right? You've done so well for yourself. We always knew you had it in you. Marcus and I, we were just waiting for you to prove yourself." I walked up to her, so close she could see the coldness in my pupils. "Prove myself? You stole my life's work. You mocked my poverty. You left me in the rain on the one day I needed you most." I turned to Marcus. "The merger failed, Marcus. I triggered the kill switch in the algorithm you stole. Your stocks are at zero. Your banks have frozen your accounts. By tomorrow morning, you won't even own the shoes on your feet." Marcus lunged at me, but my security intercepted him before he could even get close. He fell to his knees, sobbing. Sarah, seeing the ship sinking, immediately turned on Marcus. "I never loved him, Ethan. He forced me to leave you. Please take me back. I can help you run this empire." I looked at her with pure, unadulterated pity. "Sarah, you are the most expensive lesson I ever bought. And today I'm finally closing the account." I handed them a small bag. "Inside are the clothes you wore the night you left me. You have 5 minutes to change and leave this building. If you're still here in 6, I'll have you arrested for trespassing on my property." As they were dragged out screaming and begging, I stood at the window looking over the city. My 35th birthday was ending. I took a small bite of a fresh, perfect lemon tart. It tasted like victory. But then my phone buzzed. A message from my investigator. "Sir, we found the records. It wasn't just Sarah. Your own father was involved in Marcus's plot to ruin you. The revenge was over. But a new war was just beginning.